Chapter 15. A Call for Help. Ben watched from a distance as David left the hotel, a feeling of unease nagging at him. He had just received an alert from Raymond about how he was being followed by a suspicious character across cities when checking in with the other hotel branches. Raymond had only noticed that he was being followed because of the stranger's unchanging attire. Their hood always covered most of their face, and their cloak looked muddied and beaten by the weather. Though the stranger had maintained a safe distance, Raymond and Ben were both on high alert. He replayed the text message in his mind, each word increasing his concern. The identity of the stranger and their motives were a mystery. Was it just mere coincidence that this stranger showed up now, the moment that David returned to the city? Or was there more to it? Was this person linked to the assassination of David's parents? Were they following Raymond in hopes of finding David? The situation had Ben on edge, but he needed to maintain his facade as the hotel manager in front of David. He couldn't let David know about the threat, not until he had more concrete information. The last thing he wanted was to alarm David and disrupt his endeavors. As David disappeared around the corner, Ben made a swift decision. He instructed two of his most trusted bodyguards to tail David discreetly. They were skilled professionals, perfectly capable of protecting David without arousing his suspicion. With David's safety temporarily ensured, Ben took a moment to contemplate his next move. He needed more information and more resources, and he needed them fast. His gaze fell on the phone in his hand, his mind going to a contact he hadn't dialed in years. Ben had hoped to keep his investigation private, only involving those within the Hall family empire. But this was no time to be stubborn or to keep secrets from old allies. There's no sense in pride if it might come at the cost of David's life. He steeled his resolve and made the call.
Ben, is that you?
James, Ben replied. I'm glad I reached you. James was an old buddy, a fellow guardian who had retired nearly a decade ago. However, Ben knew if there was ever a time for James to come out of retirement, it was now. I'm sorry it's been so long, but I need your help, Ben said, cutting straight to the point. He quickly briefed James about the situation, about the stranger following Raymond, and about his concerns for David's safety. There was a pause on the other end of the line, and for a moment, Ben wondered if he had made a mistake. I'm in, Ben. Just tell me what you need. Ben sighed in relief at James's words. Thank you, James, he said sincerely. I can't tell you how much this means to me. By the way, are you still in contact with the Jang family? A hearty chuckle came from the other end of the line.
As a matter of fact, I was just over at their Bangkok mansion the other night, celebrating Nicole's 16th birthday,
James replied, a note of amusement in his voice. That's no surprise, Ben replied. I doubt they'll ever forget how you saved her life during that attempted kidnapping. I bet you're practically part of their family now. James let out a warm laugh. You're absolutely right, Ben, he admitted, his voice filled with fondness. The Jangs have been good to me over the years, more than I deserve. Nicole, that sweet little girl, she's grown so much. She's taken to calling me Uncle James. It's a title I wear with pride. He continued, a hint of nostalgia softening his voice. And Edmund, he's been so gracious. He makes sure Nicole accompanies him on his visits to see me. It's a small gesture, but it means the world to me. I got to watch her grow from a shy, timid child to a confident young woman. Being a part of her life and their family, it's a bond that words can't describe. That's wonderful to hear, James, Ben replied warmly, genuinely happy for his old friend. But he couldn't afford to let the pleasantries distract him from the task at hand. James, do you think Edmund might have any clues about anyone who may have been targeting the Jang family around the same time William and Bethany Hall were assassinated? He asked. There was a brief pause on the other end of the line as James considered Ben's question. I can't say for sure, Ben, he answered. But I know Edmund has always been vigilant about his family's safety. I can ask him discreetly, without raising any alarms.
It might be a long shot, but it's worth a try.
I appreciate that, James, Ben said gratefully. We need every piece of information we can get. This is a complex situation, and the more we know, the better we can protect David.
I understand, Ben, James assured him. I'll contact Edmund and see what I can find out. I'll let you know as soon as I have something.
James, before you leave, could I also ask you to check around your network, see if anyone is still actively targeting the Hall family group? Any information could be crucial.
Of course, Ben, James replied without hesitation. I'll see what I can dig up.
With that, their call ended, and Ben was left alone to his thoughts. He sat back, rubbing his temples, contemplating his next move. The Jangs were trusted allies, but Ben knew they had their own agenda too. Every family empire was expected to take care of itself, and those that couldn't resolve their own matters usually became prey for other families seeking to move up the ladder. He was confident that the Jangs would never threaten or betray the Hall family, but they would surely expect something in return. After all, the prosperity of one's family always came before the needs of friends. It was just a matter of how and when they decided to call in the debt. Ben reached across the desk and picked up a picture of William and Bethany. If David somehow awakens the same kind of power that his parents had, the Hall family will surely reclaim its place as one of the strongest empires in all of Asia, maybe in the world. At that time, any debt to be paid will be easily satisfied. For now, every risk was worth taking to ensure David's safety.